Hey folks, welcome back to FreepCast. My name is Robb Murray. I'm here with managing editor Joe Spear of the Free Press. And Joe, little known fact, I think, for the folks out there, on the weather on the bottom of page A1, where it says what the weather is, I put on there weather perfection. That was my prediction for the weather today. And I think I was right.
Okay.
I think I was absolutely right. I've never seen a better day.
It is.
It's gorgeous out there.
Wonderful today. Yes.
It's a good day to talk about the news.
High in the low 70s. Yeah. Or be on a patio talking about the news with some beverages.
We can move it out there.
We could do that sometime. A lot of news again. Crazy stuff. Update on the MSU international student who was in the Freeborn County Jail for 40 days, it sounded like. 30 days, 40 days. Because his eligibility to be here was canceled, and they got a lawyer, got a judge. The judge said he was imprisoned because of his speech, right? This is incredible that we ever even hear about a story like this in decades and decades that I've been in this business. It's just where we're at. You're imprisoned for your speech. He's in the country legally, right? He's an international student. And so they let him out, but he had to be in the jail for 40 days. And he was sick.
And he's just one of hundreds.
Thousands
across the country.
Yeah. And he was sick. He had some medical issues he needed to see a doctor about. I don't know if he ever did. Anyway, this judge, God bless him, and all these judges who are standing up to some of this nonsense, right? It's under the law, the Alien Enemies Act. The Secretary of State determines you're a risk to the U.S. foreign policy by what you're saying, and therefore they can put you in jail without much of a hearing or anything else, and it takes lawyers and lawyers. What if you don't have a lawyer? This is troubling. Anyway, he's out. Other cases are happening like this. You're seeing more and more pushback, although the update on the Rutgers student, she is still in Louisiana, I believe. So there's this kind of stuff happening. Anyway, Mohammed Hoque is his name, and he was able to make it back to MSU's international student graduation kind of ceremony they had last night, a very nice ceremony where the parents come from other countries, thousands of miles away to, do the ceremonial congratulations. Son, daughter came over here to get an education, got one. And it's a great moment of celebration. Obviously, there was a little soberness to it yesterday. But we're glad to see him back, and hopefully we can push. And what can you do? Everybody asks me what they can do to be against these things. Well, you can write letters. You can, like these friends of Mohammed's got together, and they got some ministers together, and they were out at the Freeborn County Jail today to visit it, to see what are the conditions. We want to know. We're citizens. We can find this out. So they were there, and so were we. Casey and Mark went down, so there'll be a great story in tomorrow's paper and good photos. So you'll want to catch that.
If you're hearing this on Friday, it's in today's paper.
Good point. Yeah. Good point.
So do we know the status of this individual? His in the CVIS system, which we had explained to us by the dean of the global education a few weeks ago, that is what allows you to come to it allows you to just be here.
Be eligible.
You need the visa to get in.
Yep.
You need the CVIS permission or whatever it's called that's your reason for being here.
Yeah.
Did they restore that for this guy?
I don't think we know. We're trying to interview him through his lawyer and haven't had success yet. And his lawyer was talking to Holly Marie Moore and wasn't forthcoming on a lot of this stuff. So in the days ahead, we'll certainly ask that question. I think many of them are having it restored.
Who's his lawyer?
I'm not sure.
Is he from around here? Is he ACLU hire?
I'm trying to remember if he was ACLU or not. I don't know if we said. We've quoted him in a couple stories.
It seems weird they would be cagey about
Yeah, I don't know,
stuff.
and we're trying to look up the file. It's more complicated process than looking up just regular court file. We usually did it through our PACER service system, government service system, and that wasn't working. And
Is it not working, or is this person not in the system?
no, our account was disabled for some reason.
So PACER, for the folks listening, is the system, the online system you use to navigate the federal court system.
Yeah, pacer.gov, and it's really great. You just pay $50 a year or whatever, you get access to it. But we must have not used it for a while, or something happened with it being disabled. And I got on the helpline and was number one to be talked to after about 20 minutes, and then the phone went dead. So I got back on the line, and I was 132 to be listened to, so I didn't file. But we got to get it up and running again. We'll track this stuff. It was weird the lawyer wouldn't just give us the case number, help us out. But these things are tough to track, and there'll be more of them. So, we're on it. We're tracking it. And we appreciate everyone who's reaching out to us and encouraging us to continue to do this kind of thing. We just got a thank you note today from the International Student Office about our coverage of this issue and supporting international students. But we already heard one program next summer where sounds like Japanese students would come for a few weeks. Has been not going to happen because nobody signed up for it. Nobody wants to come. Imagine that. Foreign students don't want to come to the U.S.
That's a result of what's going on here?
I think so. Yeah, it sounded like it. When you think about it, when you're hearing all this stuff, would you, risk it if you're
No, I
send
wouldn't.
My college kid over to the U.S.?
I would not send my kid here right now.
Nor would I.
There was somebody in the news today, a young woman lived here since she was 4 years old. She's in college. She got pulled over for not using her turn signal, and they sent her off to ICE sent her off to a prison somewhere.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah. And we're still waiting for the federal judge to declare the Trump administration people in contempt because they're not saying what process they're using to get these people back from El Salvador and get them hearings. Nobody's saying some of them might go back there, but you still got to give them a hearing. A lot of stuff in the news.
Should we mention our sponsor quick?
Yes, we should. The podcast is sponsored by Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union, happily serving those who live, work, and do business in Blue Earth, Nicollet, LeSueur, Waseca, Brown, Wantagh County since 1934. And we thank them. And if you're getting something out of this, thank them and reach out to them. Drug cases in court again. You went to one of them, fentanyl murder case. One of these, same old story, friends doing drugs together, doing fentanyl, don't know how dangerous it is.
Yeah. This story, a person died, somebody got sentenced to go to prison for essentially 3 years, and it's a tragedy. And I was reading some of the Facebook comments on this story, and there was a lot of people wondering, should this guy have gotten any time in prison? He didn't. I guess the question is about individual responsibility.
Yeah.
If you take the pills yourself, does it matter who gave them to you? If you take a lethal amount, should the person who gave them to you? It's illegal, but is it murder?
Yeah. Well, technically, wasn't it second or third degree murder?
It was.
So it's a lesser.
Second degree. I don't know.
Don't
ask me.
Charge.
I just covered this story.
Yeah. Well, and
it was tragic, and I did speak to the mom just briefly, and she read her statement in court, and it was very, very powerful, as they often are. And the defendant got to say a few words, and the judge was not impressed with what he had to say.
He kind of shirked responsibility, right? Or
it's one of those things where when it's your time to be contrite, it's not a good idea to say it's not really your fault.
Yeah, he's kind of missing the boat there on the whole judge leniency thing.
At the same time, whatever you say is probably not going to make much difference. She has her mind made up 99.9% before the hearing even happens, before the mom says what she has to say.
You think so?
Before,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen enough of these things, and almost,
Yeah, you have.
I've never seen a case where an emotional victim impact statement, you can tell, has made a difference
Yeah,
in what
I
was
suppose.
going to happen anyway.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. So we have another one. Then today we had a plea bargain in the murder case where this happened in December. I think I was coming to work on a Saturday in December 21st, and I saw the BCA van outside the house on down there off of 2nd Street, and kind of not a real complicated case. Altercation, somebody stopping somebody, gonna rob them. Think the guy who's going to be robbed is pulling a gun, so the other kid shoots him in the head. And Holly covered this for us yesterday, and it was interesting because it sounded like the two knew each other a bit, or maybe not. It seemed like, I think so.
They probably did.
And the survivors, wife and mother hugged each other after the.
This is the mom of the victim and the mom of the defendant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That is not something you see every day in court.
Yeah.
It was great that she was there for that and had the wherewithal to use that.
Yeah.
As the lead of her story. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job by Holly.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're having a little switch here, with Tim Crone gone. He retired. He wrote his last column in Sunday's paper. So we're going to miss him a lot. And Brian Arla, our cops reporter, everything reporter, he went to MinPost to be their Greater Minnesota reporter. So I think he's really looking forward to that. He can still live in Mankato. That'll be a great job for him. So we're a little shorthanded, but filling in the spots as we can and shifting people around. So Holly is kind of taking over some of the police and cops and courts. So everybody's kind of learning a new thing here. MSU, another thing MSU's in the news about cutting a lot of its programs, degree programs. I shouldn't say a lot. I guess it was a third. They had 300, and they cut like 86. So, but a lot of it, if you looked at the specifics of what they cut, so they cut the BA in, what's a good example? Art history.
I think art history was.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that today.
But they still have some of the BS programs still. So the whole art department isn't cut, right? The whole music department isn't cut. A lot of the cuts came to degrees that maybe weren't sought after by a lot of people. We were talking about the Bachelor of Arts, Master of Arts.
It all came down to numbers. And I think when you're in a budget crunching situation, you're going to have to hurt some feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just.
Right.
The budget is what the budget
and
is.
we're trying to get those numbers, actually, because their fiscal year comes up on the end of June 30th. And we just have to follow up with the state university system to get that, because I don't know if it's 3 million or 10 million or what it is, but there's a number out there that's creating this, and we don't have it yet.
And I feel for a lot of these folks. I mean, I've been reading on Facebook a lot of people lamenting the discontinuation of something that they've put their life into. So I totally get that they feel slighted or betrayed or something like that.
It sounds like they're going to let people who are in a program so far finish.
Yeah.
Some way.
Yeah.
Online maybe, or another way.
Usually when there are cuts like that, they let the existing students finish out the program. But
I thought what's interesting, the gender studies program is apparently we're the only master's program in the state on that. So it's kind of sad to see there's only one of them, and we're still cutting it, and it's in an important field.
And that was some of the stuff I was reading today. A friend of mine, Maria Bivacqua, was commenting on what it means to lose something like that, which is, it was nice that we had that. And I think it was kind of a feather in the cap of MSU.
It sounded like it was.
And now it's going to be gone. And I don't know.
Kids
They
from
have
all over
to.
the country came to that one.
They got to roll with what's. I guess they say they got to roll with what students want, where the demand is, and at the end of the day, they want graduates to be able to find jobs,
Yeah,
and I think they want to try and tailor things to that end. So
that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I can see
still a
it.
bummer.
Yeah, and the state is facing a big deficit, so there's going to be cuts. And this is, President said this is something they do every 3 years, go through programs and look which ones they need to shed. But it seems like it's bigger this year. I don't recall this kind of a massive effort every 3 years. And of course, when you have money, it's not as urgent. When you don't, it's more urgent.
They might do it every 3 years. I'm not sure it's
Yeah.
news every 3 years, the way it is now.
True. In sports, I thought it was kind of interesting that there's people getting together to set up a wrestling club in town.
Oh yeah,
They got plans for a building and lots of members, lots of leaders. Wrestling, apparently there's not much, for in the summer or year-round wrestling program for kids. And of course, Jim Rueda, our famous sports editor, was always a big wrestling fan. He said, "We're never covering wrestling enough," and apparently it is pretty big that people are interested in it. So it'll be interesting to watch that development. Do you watch wrestling? High school wrestling?
no.
I can't say that I have either. I've sometimes liked watching the tournaments, high school tournaments, when there's different footage.
It's like the Olympics for me. I mean, I'll watch it every 4 years.
Yeah,
Like figure skating and gymnastics.
yeah, true.
But good for them.
Yeah,
If they get the support and they're going to build a building, I mean, great. Go
yeah.
for it.
One thing I want to mention, the city of Mankato is cracking down on selling vaping stuff to underage kids. Apparently, it's a big problem. We were at the city council meeting, Mark, covering this again, and several teachers and youth leaders came forward and talked about the problem of vaping in the schools or underage kids. But apparently there's a smart vape with a phone connectivity that allows kids to take a nicotine hit on a device that can also be used for texting, answering a call, and playing video games. Crazy. This is from Renee Danbury at Mankato Area Public Schools.
What is this? What is this device?
It sounds like it's a vaping texting device.
Casey, you're our young guy in the room here. What is this thing? I have no idea. Casey has no idea.
One game allows the user to keep a virtual pet alive by feeding it using coins that are earned each time the user inhales.
No way.
A sweatshirt is available that allows a person to vape through what is disguised as the drawstring on the hood.
Now that I like.
Oh, man.
I can get into that
You
one.
gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Quote of the week from Mike Green, who's a chemical health counselor at Mankato Area Public Schools. He describes himself as a comic book geek, but says, "If I was a superhero, my number one villain would be smoke shops." He said, later adding that he considers vaping to be a gateway to other drug use. Quote, "Every kid I work with who identifies as an addict vapes. I haven't found one who doesn't." So we'll leave you with that. I want to announce, just let people know, Alan Eskins, the mystery writer, is going to be at the Free Press Knowledge and Lecture Series next Tuesday, and that's at the Blue Earth County Historical Society. It's a bigger room, Tuesday night at 6. Going to talk about his writing process, his books, his mystery books.
Is he going to read
I don't know if he's going to read.
from his latest?
I think we asked him to kind of do more of an overview. He's done a lot of stuff on his latest book, so maybe a different direction. Maybe he will read. I'm sure if people asked him to read, he would.
Alan's stuff is really down to earth and easy to read and page turning. It's. I mean, he's really good. He makes me kind of jealous because he can be a lawyer for 30 years and then turn around and be a better writer than the rest of us. So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And he's a great guy, too.
Absolutely.
Just want to mention our sponsor again, Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast, keeping great journalism in Mankato. And we want to let you know we're still working through some of our problems on the reader service end, but please call us, email us, get us your information that you're having trouble with getting online, and we will try to help you with that. The best number to call is Reader Service 625-3764, or email us readerservice@mankatofreepress.com. You can also sign up for a new subscription by just going to our website and hitting subscribe. And you can order SPX Sports Photo reprints, 345-7196, or you can also go to our website. So thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.